everybody. I'm Joe Compton.
And I'm Katie Salidas.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the new show. We've got a back show. We were talking like a couple days ago how it was a kind of a quiet news cycle, and all of a sudden we just packed our show with like a ton of stuff. So with that being said, we're just going to go right into it and get going. Our top story this evening. Welcome to the new royalties. Oh, SoundCloud has opened things up. This week, SoundCloud announced it's making a major change to the way artists on their platform get paid in an effort to help small acts make more money for their music. They're calling it fan-powered royalties. But for those of you who don't know how royalties work with streaming services, especially the music streaming services, they use a system called pro rata, which is wherein they collect all the money from all the subscribers and advertisers, and it goes into one big pot, and it's dispersed to the artists based on the amount of each stream generating. So basically, the bigger names will, even if you don't ever listen to them, download them, or look at them as a fan, if you don't like them at all, they still get the majority of the funds based through that. It's been the bane of indie artists' existence for all time since streaming had started. They've always tried to push a user-contented pay system out there, and so SoundCloud is moving toward that direction. As of April 1st, your subscription money and all advertising will go directly to the artist that is being advertised for or subscribed to. So whatever you listen to, and the more you listen, the more the artist will get. SoundCloud calls this fan-powered, but it's really a revenue-sharing system that is actually a model known as user-centric. Now there is a rub. Here's the rub. On their own statement, SoundCloud offers two examples of this system and how it's going to work. One, they say where the artist's monthly revenues reportedly jumped from $120 to $600 a month through fan-powered royalties. And another in which the separate artist's monthly revenues rose by 217%. Sounds pretty good, right? Sounds all good. Well, as we are going to discuss in our next story, there's a little bit of a lack of transparency going on here. And this is where it comes. They don't show the equation in any analytics or any system that you'll get. They're just going to show you the amount that you're getting. So they have no transparency in how these numbers are calculated, which is of course a concern that indies have already, addressed and asked of them. They did a test run with some indies and saw how this went, and that was one of the big key points that they brought up was, hey, look, how do I know what I'm going to get? How can I prepare? Because we have to pay our bills, and if I don't know how much I'm getting, or projected to get, how am I supposed to ever figure that money into my revenue stream? So there's also another wrinkle in the fact that not every artist on SoundCloud will get the fan-powered royalties. Instead, only those enrolled in 3 specific monetization programs will be able to participate, and that's SoundCloud Premier, their Repost and Repost Select. The last 2 of those subscription models require artists to use SoundCloud as their distributor. So according to Tim Ingham, who runs the industry blog Music Business Worldwide, there are about 100,000 musicians in those 3 programs combined. You got to figure there's probably 10 million artists on SoundCloud. So, you can do the math there. That he said, well, actually probably 20 million, because he says that represents about 20% of all the musicians on SoundCloud. In short, this royalty system won't apply to everyone, and it applies to about 1/5 of them. So the rest of SoundCloud's artists are either enrolled in the basic program, which is free and doesn't allow users to make money from their music, or SoundCloud Pro Unlimited program, which costs them about $12 a month and does allow them to make money from their music, but it will only get the pro rata royalties, not the user-based centric ones. The other issue is that once you're in an agreement, there are no terms laid out. So of what all this means. Is it exclusive to SoundCloud? How long is that exclusivity? Also, you have to enter this program whether you like it or not. So if you're enrolled in the premier programs that were the 3 programs that are using the system, you have no choice. You have to use this system, even if you don't agree with it. So even Taylor Swift will have to say, all right, I have to use this system. Most look at this as a step in the positive and right direction, but not the perfect solution. So right now, it's like everything else that we've been talking about. It's a wait and see mode. Artists are skeptical, but they're going to be positive about this, and we'll see. We'll follow up in April and see how it's gone for people. Actually, probably more like May or June would probably be a better indication of how it's gone. I'm sure we'll get some articles and some stories if it doesn't go well, but that is. I agree with the artist. It's a step in the right direction, and this has been. You have to figure how long has streaming service like SoundCloud been around? 10, 15 years. You have to figure this is a long time coming. And I also read another article where there was a panel with Apple Music's CEO, and they had Spotify's a person from Spotify there and a couple others. And they talked about, how it would be nice to have the user-centric model, but it's not realistic for their business. So SoundCloud's taking a chance. So you have to applaud them for that. But they still, on the scale of who pays the best royalties out, they're still at the very bottom of that list. Napster and all those places, go figure, are number 1 because they're asking for original content, and they don't get, because they're Napster, they don't get the Taylor Swifts and all that because Napster has a reputation. So they're more indie friendly in that respect. But that's so.
Still. There shouldn't be convoluted ways to pay people when they're providing the content for your platform. And that's the same issue that we have with Audiblegate. You've got a big company trying to maximize their profits at the expense of the creators who are providing the content that these people are selling.
And not only that, but indies drive more subscriptions. They're the ones that are driving people to that content on that platform, because they're the ones talking about. Taylor Swift's not talking about it. She could care less if she's on SoundCloud. She's on all of them, so she gets money from all of them. So what does she care? And I'm not saying that to dismiss Taylor Swift, and I'm not using her as the righteous example. She, I don't know her. I don't know how she feels about it. I'm just saying she's one of those big artists, and big artists use management and use other means to get. They don't even know how much they get paid probably most of the time. So, they just know they know they get money. So
it just seems like we've all, or at least just the indie artists, have all fallen for the great Ponzi scheme, where the money always goes to the top. It never goes and trickles down to us, because they have so many algorithms and calculations and convoluted language that by the end of it, you're happy for the pittance that you get, even though you really should be getting a more fair royalty deal, because you are creating the content that is being sold by this platform.
And this seems like a good direction. I mean, this seems like the absolute right idea, but without the transparency. Yeah.
See? Lack of transparency.
You don't know how they're calculating this, and if they don't tell you, it's very hard. Like I said, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm calculating my paychecks 3 weeks out of the down the road, so I know how much I'm going to have and what I can spend and what I have to save and all that, so that I can pay my bills on time. And so I think that's something that artists probably have to do a little bit more, because they don't get a regular paycheck. So they're expecting some money. And if that money doesn't come, then that screws them over. So,
and it also prevents them from being able to create more content.
Yeah. Well, speaking of screwed over, we have our fun. I mean, we're almost the Audiblegate channel at this point. This is the Audiblegate show. I mean, we're about to go right into it, and we've got a whole new wrinkle for everybody this month. So strap yourselves in, because you're about to learn something that will blow your minds. I mean, it's just crazy. So without further ado, Miss Salidas.
All right. So if you guys remember last month, we talked about the small concessions that Audible had made for us, which really were not affecting us, and it was more covering their ass. And one of those concessions was that they were going to give us that transparency that we've been asking for in March. Well, it's March 5th, No transparency yet. There have been no updates to the dashboard on your ACX account. So we're still waiting to see on that. But what we did learn came from the Audiblegate group. Now, if you guys aren't following, this is the group that started as the Fair Deal for Rights Holders and Narrators. They've become part of the Alliance of Independent Authors. They also now have a home base on the web, audiblegate.com, as well as a Facebook page. So you can stay on top of all the updates. And Colleen Cross, who is a math whiz, uncovered some really interesting information regarding our payments and what we expect to get paid versus what we actually get paid. So for those of you who do have Audible accounts and you look on your dashboard, you see that there's 3 categories of payments or 3 categories of sales. One of those is the AL group, and this is the Audible listener credit group. So they're buying your book with their credits. And the way the royalties are calculated on that is kind of convoluted and anti-transparency, just like we were talking about with the previous article. So for that group, Audible says membership net sales receipts means that for each unit, the monetary amount obtained by multiplying the Audible listening allocation factor, which we'll define, which is a bunch of gobbledygook anyways. It is multiplied the Audible listener allocation factor by Audible's a la carte price for the unit at the time Audible's listener allocation factor is calculated, which I'm already confused by reading that. So if we break that down, it means the total membership sales receipts derived from sales of all content sold by Audible in the applicable accounting period, less any cash incentives, promotional discounts, device subsidies, rebates, sales and use taxes, excise taxes, and value-added taxes, duties, and returns, divided by the total a la carte value. Again, gobbledygook. What does this all mean?
Yet.
And that's exactly what most of us do when we read this. We're like, yeah, just show me the money. Just show me the money. And Audible provides on their website an idea of what audiobooks are going to cost based on the hours involved in those. So Colleen did a wonderful spreadsheet about those, which you can see right there, factoring in the hours as well as what the cost should be with our royalty rate calculations. But the numbers don't always add up. So here's the thing. If the Audible listener allocation factor is something that's based off of a moving target, it's based off of content sold in that month, members that are a part of that group that month. It's an consistently fluctuating number, or should be. And yet, every single month, if you open up your statement, you will see the exact same royalty for your book. So they're not actually using this big gobbledygook calculation at all. They've got a number in there. And what is that number? Well, Colleen tried to get a hold of Audible and get that number, and they gave her the runaround telling her that it was proprietary information and that they don't divulge that. I'm sorry, but we signed a contract for you to sell our books. The numbers that you're going to pay us are not proprietary. We need to know. Again, just like Joe said, we need to be able to calculate what we're going to get. We always, when we try and produce new content, we have our own risk versus reward calculation on whether we can afford to do that. And a lot of that has to do with the money that we assume we are going to earn from that book. So month in and month out, even though there's this Audible listener allocation factor that's supposed to be changing, the number for the royalty stays the same. So we're missing something. Colleen dug a little deeper, and if you go to the Audiblegate website, she has the entire write-up for you. And believe me, you do want to read this. She breaks it down to the minute level, and God bless her for it. So she dug a little deeper. She tried asking questions. She got the runaround. And because the Fair Group for Rights Holders and Narrators is so big and is growing so large because of all of the people out there spreading the word about this, another author was able to get a clue from Audible through multiple emails. And they learned that this Audible's allocation factor is a floor number. It is a baseline number that they consistently use. And what is that number? It is 0.52. So what they're doing is they're taking that net or that retail price and they're multiplying it by 52% and giving you that number. So automatically, right off the top, they're cutting your royalty down by 48%. And we didn't notice this because it's already factored in for us. And when we go read the language, it's all gobbledygook. So what does this mean? This means that in order to figure out how much you're getting from each sale, and these are the membership a la carte sale, or not a la carte, membership credit sales, what you have to do is look at the retail price. You have to multiply it by this AL factor, this 0.52, multiply it by the quantity sold, and then multiply it by your actual royalty rate. So not only have they taken it down 52, or they've taken your royalty down 48%. Now you factor in whether you get that 20% if you're doing a royalty split, 40% if you're not doing a royalty split, or the 25% if you're doing the wide distribution. And that at the very end tells you what your royalty is. Now, I did it for one of my books, and you can see this on the screen here. I sold a grand total of 1 of my werewolf copies. Thank you very much to the person who bought that. All right, so my retail price is calculated at $19.95. Multiply it by that allocation factor of 0.52. Multiply the quantity, grand total of 1, and then multiply it by, because I have a royalty split, the 20%. I earned a grand total of $2.07 for that book. Now, funnily enough, that is 10% of the retail price number. I'm supposed to be getting 20% as my royalty. What I'm actually getting is barely above 10%. And that's because Audible makes up the numbers. It says right there on their home screen that Audible controls the prices. So these numbers, this allocation factor is a number they created. Why? Because they want to take as much of your money as possible. Now, if a user returns that book, I lose that measly 10% I earned. Audible loses nothing. So this is a really, really, it's another nail in the coffin for ACX, because what have we been asking for this entire time? We want fair distribution. We want to be treated fairly. We want transparency. We need to know what the actual numbers are and why we're not getting what we think we're getting when we sign the contract. If somebody had told us at the start what this allocation factor number is and how little you would actually receive, I would bet that a lot of people wouldn't have gone with Audible to begin with. There are other platforms out there. Now most of us are stuck. Some of us can get out of our contracts. If you are able to, please consider doing that. You're no longer locked in thanks to the concession they made earlier in the year. If you're a royalty split, you do have to get permission from the narrator who you're splitting with in order to break a contract. So that's kind of up to them. If you can work with them and move your stuff to Findaway Voices or another platform who can go wide. Because right now, the more we find out about what Audible is doing behind the scenes, the more disturbing it is. I wish I had news for you. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, we drew straws and Katie drew the little one, so now she has to be the bearer of bad news this week.
That's it. Don't blame the messenger.
Yeah, that's just alarming. 10%. Gosh, you make more recycling than you do selling your book.
And I don't even control the price of the book, because as indies, we are used to pricing our books a little more fairly. But we have no control. Audible sets the price. Audible creates these numbers that we're not allowed to see.
Yeah.
And then pays us based on their imaginary numbers. And at the end result, 10%. I was promised a split of 40% between me and my narrator. What I actually got was 10%. And that's if somebody doesn't return that book.
Yeah, that's terrible. Well, we'll keep an eye on it, but I really, really want to encourage, we're a conduit for the source material here that I want to encourage people to go to audiblegate.com, get involved, go to the Facebook group, join the group. And especially if you start to do your numbers and they don't add up, there's people there that can answer your questions. And if you post something in the group will come to your aid. It's a fantastic group. I've been a member of it since I met Colleen on Spelling Inc. a few weeks ago, and it's really awesome. And what Colleen and Susan are doing is it's godly work. It's just amazing, and support them and get out there and do what you need to do for yourself and also, for all of us. We're a community and we're all being affected by this. So that being said, some of you might be affected by the fact that you hate TikTok, or you're having some problems on TikTok, or TikTok, something you just don't get. Like TikTok, right? But I'm here to tell you that it's a fun app, and yes, you will get addicted if you spend some time on there. Well, at least I did. But I will say, that there are methods to the madness, and thanks that we have our own godly person doing godly work in CL Cannon, because she's going to break it down for you. And she's got incredible tips. This is a longer video, everybody, but bear with it, because I guarantee you're going to learn something tonight, and you're going to be thankful and you may even invest the time in TikTok after you hear this. So without further ado, here's the marketing tip for March.
Hey guys, CL Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you your monthly marketing tip. And today we're going to be talking about TikTok. I'm just going to say that this is some quick and easy facts about TikTok and some things that I've learned, because I cannot claim to be a TikTok expert yet. I've just kind of started my profile. I did just now get to 1,000 followers, which is really awesome. So there's 3 types of accounts. There's a personal account, there's a business account, and there's a creator account. Personal account is what most people will use. But if you are an artist or an author like we are, you can either use the business or the creator account. Personally, I like the creator account better than the business account, because on a business account, you can immediately get a website URL, which is great if you've got a small business or if you want to share your website link or your Amazon link. But you are limited on the kinds of sounds that you can use in your videos. So I like doing a creator account. You're not limited on what kind of sounds that you get, but you don't get a website URL until you get to 1,000 followers. So that's kind of probably the only con that I can think of. You also, on a creator account, get a Q&A. As long as you're over 18, it's kind of like an ask box. If anybody was on Tumblr, because I'm old and everybody was on Tumblr at one point, and we all had ask boxes. And it's basically they can ask you a question and you can address it in a future video. So here's some more tips. And this is on any social media that you're going to be doing. You want to ask for input from your audience. You want to make them engaged with you. So make a point to ask questions and encourage comments, and you want them to stitch you and duet you. So make sure you mention that in your video, or definitely do it in your video, but you can also mention it in your caption section. Don't really ask yes and no questions. Ask something that you can get a long form answer to that's easy to duet or stitch. When filming transitions, move as little as possible. A transition on TikTok is when the video is kind of cut up into different sections, and maybe somebody lost a bunch of weight, or maybe you did a filter and you turned into like a bumblebee or something. There's something unexpected when you do a transition usually. You can even put a piece of tape down, and you can stand on that same spot when you get ready to film the second part of your transition. Get a light ring and a tripod, which is what I am filming on right now, because it leaves you able to hold things and use your fingers, and for those put a finger down challenges. And it just allows you to have a steady camera, and it allows you to have enough lighting. And they're actually really cheap now. They used to be a little bit more expensive. I got mine for about $30 on Amazon. And it does great. It has like 5 or 6 different light modes. It adjusts to different heights. I can turn my camera this way and that way. So it's actually really nice for $30. Do use trending sounds to maximize your reach. Create your own take on them if you want to. Involve your audience in some way, and you can make it like a challenge. A lot of challenges have been going viral. Challenge them to do something, and again, this goes back to asking them for input and asking them to stitch or duet you. So if you can take a trending sound and make it bookish, or make it into something that relates to your book, then it's more likely to go viral. And to find trending sounds, you just go to sounds, and there's a whole category that tells you what sounds are trending right now. And you can even look at the videos that are attached to those sounds and get some ideas and make them your own. Comes on to our next point, which is be inventive. Take popular trends and make them your own. Make them relate to you and your book, and try to have fun with it. Having fun is probably the best advice I can give you about TikTok. The best videos on there are comedy videos. Those are the ones that get the most likes. So if you can be funny in your video, or turn a phrase and just make it witty, then that's more likely to get more views and likes and shares. Don't sell in every video. This is something that I have to talk about on pretty much any social media platform. You don't want to be selling to people all the time. Use the 80-20 rule. 80% of your content should be fun, should be about you, your likes, things that you're doing, things that provide value to your readers, and then 20% of the time you can sell something to them. Because people just don't want to be bombarded. We're bombarded by ads all the time. Do use text inside your videos and on your video thumbnail. Not only is this more accessible for other people, it helps get your point across more clearly. It's easier to follow along, and especially if somebody's viewing it without sound, maybe they can't during work and they can't listen to the sound right now, or any other little situation where they can't listen to the sound on at that time. That really helps them say if they want to even favorite and come back to the video. So use that. Be careful where you place your text though, and other things that you like, stickers and things you put inside of your videos, because I made the awesome mistake on my first video of putting the stickers and the text way down here at the bottom where your caption's going to show up and where your hashtags are going to show up, and nobody could read what I was saying. So make sure you put it somewhere where someone's going to see it, usually somewhere around the middle of your screen. Up here, you're going to have like the For You stuff and the things on the side where people heart it and stuff. So kind of try to stay in this little area of the screen so people can actually see what you're trying to tell them. Post consistently. And this is a thing that is really important on Instagram too, but I think it's even more important on TikTok, because TikTok is a platform where you can't just stop posting for like a month and then come back to it and be successful, because their algorithm is more about the here and now and what's happening right now in the past like few hours than it is on what's trending in the past few days. Try to post at least once every day or every other day if you can. The TikTok algorithm is just very sensitive to recent posts and recent activity, and you're not going to hit the For You pages, which is where you want to be, unless you're posting often. Find a regular gimmick that works for you, a series you can do over and over and over again. If you write poetry, you could read one of your poems every day. You could do conversations with your book boyfriends, or, make a funny little angle from that. You can do writing tips. You can review books that you have read. Another tip is to comment on all of the videos you watch, because you get more comments and likes from people who see that comment. You get viral from a video that you posted because of the content. You might have just posted a really good comment on somebody else's content, and people are like, hey, I'm going to check them out and see what they do. And you kind of get more famous from that sometimes. Sometimes you can do viral comments instead of viral videos, and it really works out for you. Medium length video have been proven to be the video that performs the best in the algorithm. So a 20 to 30 second video is the best for TikTok. And I know that kills me, because I'm like one of those people who wants to do 60 seconds or more videos. But it's not like YouTube where people just sit there on the same content. TikTok serves ads, so they want you to watch as many videos so it can get to the next ad serve. Hashtags actually are not important on TikTok. They're not completely useless, but they are not weighted in the algorithm the way they are on Instagram and Twitter and places like that. If you have a creator account or a business account, you'll be able to get into your analytics, and you can see the best times to post your videos by seeing when your actual followers are most likely to be active. And the last tip I have for you, because I know you're thinking, oh my God, there's so much information, there's so much to do. How am I going to get on there every single day and post? How am I going to have time for that? I'm telling you, I don't have time for that. So I batch film my videos. So what batch filming is you take the day that you actually put your makeup on or brush your hair, you will film plenty of clips. Film like 10 or 15, however many you've got time for. Film more than one, of course. Like if you want to film all of them for the week, say you want to film 5 to 7, do it all at one time. And then you can save those to your drafts because TikTok has this awesome draft feature. And you can go back and edit them and post them throughout the week when your hair is not done and your face looks like it's been run over by a truck. You still have pretty videos of you that you can post and edit. And even if you're not comfortable being on screen, they have like a million filters. I love the blue hair filter. I've been using it a lot. People are going to think I actually have blue hair because I use it so much. But you can do some things like that. So you can minimize, how much people actually see the real you if you don't feel comfortable being in front of the camera. You can also do things where you film your bookshelves. So there's lots of ways you can use TikTok. I'm still trying to figure some of them out, but I hope some of these tips have helped you. And remember, it's always time to go indie now. Bye.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney, for doing that. CLCAN with another great just run through of an app that, wow, a lot of people don't get. And I'm not so sure after her explaining it, anybody still gets it. But, it was worth a shot. It was definitely worth a shot. I mean, we just want to see people fall down, right? And make fools of themselves. So
yeah, I won't lie. The videos that I tend to watch are definitely the comedy ones, and I'm going straight to hell. So,
well, who's not going straight to hell is our commenters out there, because they have been so great at commenting today, and we've got so many of them. Let's say hello to them. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, AF Stewart. Regine says, I am so here. So glad you are. Hey guys, hey Mike, nice to see you and to see you nice. How is everyone? We're doing pretty good, despite Audiblegate screwing us.
One of these days I'll have good news.
Yes, I will allow that one of these times. Mike says, I heard that Spotify is awful, like don't even bother. Yeah. I'm not going to post the next comment that Rebecca posted, but it has to do with the penis. So enjoy that one if you guys go to the chat. Hey guys, 2 of my favorite people. Nice to see you, Mr. Wilson.
Congrats on the new release.
Always remember it's time to go Audiblegate. Yes, we talk a lot about it. But March isn't over yet. They'll totally get around to it. Totally. Yep, I agree. Wow, nonsense algorithm math spreadsheets. It's like they're deliberately making it hard. Yeah. Wow, just wow. I love gobbledygook. Yes, great word. Best word yet. Absolutely. Sad to say, it is why I've not gone further to publish my books via audio. I plan to go elsewhere if I can. That's very good. And they asked where the good news was. You missed it. It was in SoundCloud. I mean, that was as good as it gets, everybody.
Oh, don't tell him that.
I mean, I'm going to talk about somebody leaving their post a little bit later, and that might be good news for some people, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's not really all that much good news involved in that. I'm sorry you're losing that much, Katie. We all are. Everyone just ditch Audible. Yes, there it is. TikTok makes me laugh so much. Oh my God, is she inside for this one? And I'm going to skip a couple comments just to go to this one. That one made me chuckle very loudly. You couldn't see me off screen, but I was laughing very hard at that one. That was a good one.
I was shocked when she came on screen. I was like, what?
Audible giving. Yeah, she must have like locked the door to her kid's room. Audible giving you 20% after taking 50. And nobody, I am just speculating. Do not say that I told you that CLCAN locks our kids in her room. All right. I'm just saying. I'm just being funny is all. So much work. Hey, look, Salidas commented. She needs 48 hours every day. No kidding. Yeah.
Seriously.
I guess I'll pick up a brush. Yeah, I did my makeup and my hair tonight. So how does it look? Do I look good? Everybody?
Fabulous, as always.
All right. That's awesome. That's really good. Kudos, CL Cannon. Yes. We ganked your feed, so all of you know Late Night News is live on LitCon. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Joe, even read that in my voice and tone. They totally get around to it. Yeah. I know you all too well, my friend. Oh my God, I'm just making a hosting purchasing website for books and audiobooks. Hey, we would love that. That would be awesome. At least we know that would be done right. Wow, a lot of comments. We really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for being here and commenting and watching our show. You guys have really done great. We're not done yet. We've got more to talk about. Oh boy, do we have more to talk about. And all I'm going to say is one simple term: writer beware.
Oh, yeah. So if you are not following Writer Beware, you should be. They are the industry watchdog that aims to blow the whistle on scams, vanity publishers, money-wasting content, fraudulent agents, and more. So trust me when I say you should be following them, because not following them can have a negative effect on your author career. And this month, they highlighted 3 publishers being naughty. Let's start with number 1, Riverdale Avenue Books. This was founded in 2012 by literary agent Lori Perkins. That's a big name out there. She is of the L. Perkins Agency, and they describe themselves as a hybrid publisher. We got to watch out with these hybrid publishers here. Writer Beware received a number of complaints from Riverdale's anthology and book authors. Among the offenses were publication delays, poor copy editing, late or missing royalty statements, non-provision of contractually promised print author copies, and poor communication. Now, Lori Perkins also had a previous publishing venture called Ravenous Romance. That was the focus of similar complaints before it was shut down in 2016. In particular, it stirred up conflict around conflict of interest, because Lori Perkins, not only being the head of the publishing agency, is also an agent herself. So
Whoa,
shifting people into her own, not good. So you want to stay away from Riverdale Avenue Books. That is our number 1. Our number 2 is Breaking Rules Publishing, which sounds like a really cool name. They bill themselves as an open and inclusive publishing house that was founded to help writers break down the system. Sounds really good, right? Well, their founder, Christopher Clausen Rule, has no professional publishing or writing experience before getting this started. Breaking Rules Publishing runs a large roster of high entry fee, that is profit generating awards, which do nothing but waste writers' money, offering a grand total of, wait for it, exposure as the prize. I know, we love that word. Along with no fewer than 15.
I'm waiting for the Rebecca chats, Rebecca comments on that one.
Oh no. All right. Let's stay on point here real quick. Along with no fewer than 15 of those exposure contests, Breaking Rules Publishing also sells a range of paid services. Editing, cover design, and hawking ads to writers. That does not sound like a good publisher. We need to remember that when you are going into a contract with a publisher, the money should always flow to you, not the other way around. If it's flowing the other way around, they are not a publisher for you. Along with the red flags from Breaking Rules Publishing, they had multiple complaints from authors and staff. These included late payments, non-payments of royalties, staff salaries, anthology fees, story fees for publication, and being charged for publishing in the Breaking Rules magazine. They also have a failure to provide author copies, failure to provide books ordered and paid for by the authors, problems with online orders, and confusing and inadequate contract language that doesn't define rights or grant terms. This is a lot of red flags. So again, that is Breaking Rules Publishing. That's our number 2. Number 3, Adelaide Books. This one presents itself as an independent publisher that is dedicated to publishing literary fiction and creative nonfiction. What it is a pay-to-play publisher requiring authors to purchase 45 copies of their finished books at retail, not wholesale. So basically what they're doing is shifting the fees on the back end instead of on the front. That way they can claim they don't charge any fees, which is a tactic that many, many vanity publishers have tried before to make themselves seem legit. So if you're contractually obligated to buy X amount of copies of your book at retail price, red flag. Stay away from them. That's the way they cover their butts. Adelaide doesn't mention the purchase of requirements outright on its website. This is something that's kind of slipped in as you get to the contract point and is passed up. It's overlooked by a lot of authors. So there's some issues there. Always read your contract language. Always, always, always. And if you don't understand what you're reading, find someone who does. A lot of services like or a lot of guilds like the Authors Guild, the Alliance of Independent Authors, they're out there to help provide somebody to help you understand contract language. So it is definitely in your benefit to be a part of a major guild, especially if you're acting alone and you don't know contract language, and it does get tricky. So those are the big three that writer beware listed for us this month. And again, if you are not following Writer Beware, you need to. They are constantly shining a light on all of the bad players out there in the publishing industry. And trust me when I say there are plenty, and you don't want to get scammed.
Mm-hmm. Well, seeing how I did a bad thing last month and cut some of our stories, I have the great privilege now of presenting one of those stories to you because, I deserve that. And one of them, well, it's actually two stories, but they're kind of related to one another. And you may know this guy. And Mr. Bezos, that is Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, former CEO of Amazon. He is going to be transitioning to an executive chair later this year. He has served as a CEO since he founded the company in 1994, presided over the e-commerce giant as it grew into the online bookstore that mostly dominated technology companies in the world. Under Bezos' stewardship, Amazon has come to rule over the internet commerce, established itself as a backbone of infrastructure of the modern web through its Amazon Web Services, built a subscription empire around Prime, launched popular technologies like Echo and Kindle, and even started dabbling in physical retail through grocery stores and the acquisition of Whole Foods. Bezos has been the head of the company and skyrocketed in wealth, making him the single richest human on earth with a net worth of nearly $180 billion. It'd be nice if he trickled a little bit back to us there. Andy Jassy has led Amazon Web Services team since it was founded in 2003, and he was named CEO in 2016. The choice of Jassy, who has headed Amazon's cloud service business since the beginning, over a retail or hardware executive is telling for one of Amazon's priorities as a company. So with that being said, as soon as Mr. Bezos decided he was going to step down, news came out of an antitrust lawsuit. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, yeah. Amazon and the big five publishers are defendants in an ebook pricing fixing suit. The initial complaint, first filed by the Southern District of New York on January 14th by a Seattle-based firm, Hagens Bergman, portrayed the big five publishers. I'm not going to go through them, and actually it's big four now, or pretty close to becoming the big four, as co-conspirators in a bid to restrain competition in the ebook market. But they had named only Amazon as a defendant. The so-called big 5-4 publishers are now named as defendants in the consumer class action lawsuit. The case boils down to an allegation that price fixing happened through the use of the most favored nations clause in all publishers' contracts with Amazon that effectively ensures Amazon cannot be undersold. Lawyers argue that prevents existing retail competitors from expanding their market share and dissuades new competitors from entering the ebook market. Among the relief requested, the suit seeks monetary reimbursement for proposed consumer class made up of people who purchase ebooks through Amazon's competitors, as well as damages and injunctive relief that would require Amazon and the publishers to stop enforcing anti-competitive price restraints. The online giant has been facing pressure from tech advocacy groups and librarians over this distribution of ebooks. We did a story just a couple months ago about Amazon getting into the library system. So, gee, I wonder if you put 2 and 2 together, how you're going to come up with 4, right? But the online giant has, William Tong, the Connecticut's Attorney General, said in a statement that the state has an active and ongoing antitrust investigation into Amazon regarding potential anti-competitive terms in distribution agreements the company has for electronic books with some publishers. Tong's investigation into Amazon's ebook business is one of the many antitrust investigations facing the tech giant, including state-led and federal efforts. Officials in California and Washington have scrutinized how the company treats independent merchants who use its marketplace. The Federal Trade Commission has also its own inquiry about the company, which critics have said has grown into a dominant online retailer by crushing smaller companies. So this goes all along with, yes, we got the trust suit, we've got the big 5 turning into big 4, and Bezos stepping down. Murder mystery abound. I mean, this thing just reads like Agatha Christie, does it not, everybody? I mean, gee, I wonder how 1 = 1 = 2. It's just crazy. It's this stuff has been plaguing our society for a long time, and now it is. JD, Bezos has too many pesos. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Well, there's a little bit to that, I would guess. This is the 3rd or 4th. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. One of many, many lawsuits that are out there. Amazon's constantly getting hit, but the problem is Amazon is so big, they've been able to fight back. And this is one thing we're looking at with the Audiblegate issue. We have to have everybody screaming in order to get Audible to listen, because they are that big, and they're like the bully. They can push you around until somebody bigger stops them. We have to join forces for that.
And this is a little different too, because this is coming from a state a state attorney general office, and that's a little bit more of a priority, high profile idea than if a small independent bookseller came after them. Wouldn't surprise me to see. I mean, and again, this is me. I'm saying this. Nobody else knows this. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Drafted Digital has a little bit of a poking stick when it comes to these things, because they're really, if you look at it, Drafted Digital's it. I mean, they're the one that I think is the only one left that can stop this rolling hill of crap coming down the hill. They're the only one I think has a chance. I mean, there might be a new competitor that steps up. I mean, we were hoping Bookshop would change the game a little bit. It's kind of waned after the pandemic kind of, has kind of also waned a little bit. We're starting to progress a little bit more into a normalcy, even though it's still slow. But Bookshop was very apparent come March, April, June, and all of a sudden you don't hear much about them anymore. They're kind of waned. Smashwords, where are you? I mean, you're to me, you're Goodreads. I just can't find you on my timeline. So,
and this is March. Smashwords generally does the read a book.
They've got it running. They've got the promotion running. I don't know anybody participating in it. Maybe Anita's out there participating, because I usually see her participating in it, but I didn't do it this time because I was like, why? It's not doing me any good. I mean, there's no reason, and it's like, they're not giving you anything. I mean, so it's frustrating, because you want these places to succeed. You want to have options. You want to have alternatives, because when Amazon does crooked crap like they're doing with Audiblegate, you want to be able to go and say, okay, well, you know what? If you're going to treat me like this, I'm going to go elsewhere. I'm going to take my business elsewhere. Right now, we're not hurt. Amazon's not hurting because they know you can't take your business elsewhere, and if you do, you're not going to be as successful as you are with Audible. So, it's they're really running the roost in this idea.
Yeah. And until we can get readers, consumers, to stop immediately thinking Amazon as the first place to go, Amazon's still benefiting. I mean, even a small drop in the bucket for them sales wise doesn't defeat the behemoth. And when the Audiblegate issue, when we fight for that, we're not fighting to destroy Amazon. We're fighting for fair distribution, for transparency in numbers. We want to be able to trust the company that we're putting our stuff on to sell.
Yeah.
And if we can't trust them, then why are we selling through them?
Yeah, we're realistic. We understand that we need Amazon. I mean, we all do. It's just a part of life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, but it's wrong when they're not treating us the way that we should be treated. And that's where it's wrong. You know, and it's
and I guarantee you that's why Amazon hasn't, come through with the deal yet on the libraries, is because they haven't gotten the profit level that they want. Meanwhile, Smashwords, Drafted Digital, they've been providing that link to the library chains from the very beginning.
And Macmillan's just clutching at straws right now. So their whole library thing where that, there was a story out last year about Macmillan pulling their stuff from the library. They've kind of gone backwards on that because they're preparing for war. I mean, there's a big war coming, everybody, and you all need to be prepared for it. If you're the big four are about to be, they're going to close into the big one by the time. I think in our lifetime there will only be one.
That's the problem. You get the monopoly, and then what does the monopoly do? That's why these antitrust laws are in place, is to stop the monopoly from, getting rid of all the little guys, from just making them completely inconsequential in the marketplace.
I'll tell you what, everybody out there, there's one way you can stop Amazon right now, and that's by liking, sharing, and commenting and subscribing to Go Indie Now. Get out there. Put us out there in the world. We'd love to be out there in the world and tell everybody what you all have been privileged to know in this last 45 minutes. So go and do that, please. We would love that, and we really appreciate it. Especially if you're here now, like the video at least, please. That would be amazing to us. You would have my internal gratitude, as you already do. But we have wonderful fans, and I'm very, very grateful for each and every one of you.
Yes.
So, but we'd like to have more. So let's do this. All right. Let's bring it. Let's bring this big light of rainbow to the world. Right. Speaking of bringing a big light of rainbow to the world, Katie Salidas, you got some really cool stuff going on this weekend. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you're doing and how you're doing it?
Well, of course, on Saturday, we have Spilling Ink. You cannot miss that show. We bring you a new author to talk to each week, and we've got some fun conversations planned for tomorrow. That is at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are live, which means all of your wonderful comments can be put up on screen. And if you have any questions for the guests that we bring on this week, they will also be on screen, and you can basically talk directly to them. So definitely join us for that. And then on Sunday, I do my live reading. We're on Agents of Asset Book 2, A Taste of Your Own Magic. And we're about halfway through right now. But for those of you who missed it, you can always catch up by going to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Katie Salidas, and see all the previous chapters that have been read. We've already read book 1. We are halfway through book 2. And once we get to the end of that one, I will put up a poll to see which of my many books you want me to start reading for the next one.
And there's Katie's website. Go katiesalidas.com. Get yourself one of these wonderful books. Look at this array of beauty that she's got here. This is amazing stuff. And you should all listen. If you don't have a weapon of magical destruction right now, I don't care. You can leave this video right now and go get it. Go get it. Go get that book because it's fantastic. It is wonderful. I had the privilege of listening to Katie give us the audio version of it, and I was really grateful. I have a copy, so I will again read it for my own pleasure and enjoyment and all that wonderful things. This book, though, this Taste
it's on sale. It's on sale too.
It's on sale,
99 cents right now.
Go get that motherfucker. Go get it right now. All right. But Taste of I just want to say real quickly, Taste of Magic it's a different book than Weapons of, but you're learning so much more about all the great characters that Katie has created, and it's really cool. It's like that. It's like that moment when you've met everybody. It's The Empire Strikes Back, because it's like that moment when when you've met everybody, now they're evolving, and you're seeing why they evolve and how they evolve and what it means. And I'm guessing that 3, 4, and then eventually 5, when Katie gets around to writing it, will evolve that even further. So go check that out and definitely support Spilling Ink. We do, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm
That's right. You are our sponsor.
I'm really grateful for that opportunity. So it's a great show. I love it, and I will be there tomorrow night. So everybody else should be there. There's no reason why you can't be there. So be there, everybody. All right. With that being said, I realize that a lot of people can't be here for this because it is so goddamn early in the morning. It is 9 a.m. That's not a typo, everybody. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time. So if you live where Katie and I live, yes, I am getting up at 6 in the morning to do this Q&A. Hopefully there are questions. I'm really hopeful. I think there are already. If not, if you guys can possibly make it and ask a couple questions, you would have my eternal gratitude for that as well. But that's where I'll be, LitCon. The LitCon event page, you go litcon.org, we'll have the event page up as well. And that's probably where it will stream. So you guys can check that out and check it out afterwards too. And if you have questions afterwards, I'll go back to the video and make sure that if there's questions lingering, I will answer them. If nobody else does, I will go back and answer them. So watch it after the fact as well. I also wanted to mention that we just released an episode of Spotlight with our good friend, Mr. Shane Wilson, who you saw a comment from earlier this evening, watching us over there on Twitch. We really appreciate that. His band Sequoia Rising released their very first album of all the things I've ever said. I mean this the most. I have it. It's awesome. Check it out. This is a great conversation. If you've ever wanted to learn what a songwriter goes through and what it's done to Shane as a person and a writer, this is the episode you're going to learn that in. We go really deep. We talk a lot of great stuff, and we break down a lot of the songs and everything like that. So I'm really proud of this episode. I'm really proud of this series, actually. David Ashby, first episode was a really good one too. So I hope you guys go check that out if you haven't already. And where I'm at and where I'll be at is LitCon, which is going on right now. Right after the show, you guys will get a special treat. Myself and Katie will be going over to the lounge and hanging out for a little bit. So after party, everybody, we'll do a late night news after dark party over there, and hang out and enjoy that for a little bit. So everybody migrate over there and check that out. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the biggest news of the biggest news, right? I'm putting myself big because this is my moment, my time. Look, my big announcement. If you didn't know I was making a big announcement, I'm making a big announcement. It's right now. So you're all privileged watching it. It's pretty awesome. So my very first novel, Amongst the Killing, I have signed a deal with Three Furies Press, and they are going to be reworking it, re-editing it, and putting it out there under the Three Furies Press banner. I'm very, very excited for that. And for all of you who have it, who've read it, hold on to that copy because it's a collector's item, because guess what? I'm adding a couple extra chapters to this next version. So there will be 2 new chapters that actually might help explain a little bit of what happens in We the Moral Majority. I'm not giving anything away just yet, maybe, but you're going to get a little bit more insight, and I'm real excited about that. And I'm really just thankful to Three Furies Press, who have taken such great care of me and been such a great publisher. And they're really, it's just awesome that they're taking this on. As most of you know, with your first book, you always look back at it and go, oh, I just want to get it out there and get it out of my way and move on with my life. And I'm a much better writer, right? And, and all that stuff. But, I get this opportunity, this rare opportunity to make up for the mistakes I made with the first one. And so I'm taking it. It took a little bit of convincing, not a whole lot, a couple cattle prods to the ass. I'm all right, but, that's a typical Tuesday for me anyway. So with that being said, I'm real excited for that. And thank you so much to Three Fears Press for that. And look, Shane Wilson said, I've just bought Katie's book. Can't wait to read it.
Woo!
Booyah! Yep. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I bought it when she finished reading it. Awesome. And woohoo from Rebecca.
But
Anyway,
congratulations to you, Joe. That's amazing.
thank you. Yeah. Well, that's all the news that we can fit to put in this nice show. Oh, JD had a question for Rebecca that I think I'm gonna post on the screen. What lube do you use for the prod? No lube, man. It's just straight. I get to burn.
TMI.
With that being said,
Professional show.
with that, yes, it is a professional show. I've lost a little decorum here. I apologize, everybody. With that being said, this will be on our year-end blooper reel. But with that being said, thank you so much for being here on Late Night News with Go Indie Now. Why, Katie?
Because it's always time to go indie now.